Another case of Ebola. Now mid-Missouri hospitals are getting prepared.
An extra security step, why banks want you to keep your costumes at home.
And the Royals 2 outs away from making history at the K. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now. A second nurse in Dallas has been diagnosed with Ebola. Now dozens of other workers are being watched for symptoms.
Also, President Obama just said a short time ago that the U.S. must continue to monitor Ebola in a more aggressive manner to prevent it from spreading globally. With all of that news, preparation for Ebola is underway here in Columbia. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jem Reek.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. University Hospital will implement new procedures in the very near future. KOMU 8's Madison Conklin joins us in the studio to tell us what advanced medical habits are coming Columbia's way.
A university health official says Ebola is like most viral infections where there is no specific type of therapy to cure it. Medical staff at University Hospital have not changed the way they treat patients, but rather are using advanced protective measures when dealing with infectious patients. As early as tomorrow, University Hospital will begin implementing some new measures and educating medical staff.
Our infection control committee, who reviews and makes sure that we're up to speed on everything, meets Thursday, and as of Thursday afternoon, we will likely start those new procedures.
One new procedure is a formal donning and doffing program. Simply put, donning and doffing is the way doctors and nurses put on and take off personal protective gear. This new program will allow medical staff to monitor each other during this process and make necessary corrections.
While mid-Missourians are busy buying candy and costumes for Halloween, some local banks are preparing in their own ways. KOMU 8's Jessica Mensch is here with more on why workers at local banks are trying to protect themselves from real-life monsters.
Some mid-Missouri banks are saying to leave your costumes at home this Halloween. Banks have enacted special rules to make sure all customers can be identified when they come in for business during the Halloween season.
When Rachel Dickey dresses up for Halloween, she goes all out. This year, she opted for a queen costume, so her face is exposed. When you go look for your costume, you may want to consider leaving your face uncovered too, especially if you plan on going to the bank. Exchange Bank of Missouri is one of several mid-Missouri banks that will not do business with customers who aren't identifiable, mostly customers wearing masks or facial paint.
If we see them coming in, we'll ask them to take them off because we can't tell who they are.
The managers I talked to told me the rule applies to anything that covers up your face, so masks like this one could not be worn. It also applies to masks that only partially cover your face, like this one here.
Bound says it's a safety precaution.
We don't know what their intentions are. We don't know if they're a customer that's coming in to conduct normal business, or if it could be somebody that would actually want to try to rob the bank.
He says since bank robbers often wear masks, it could be alarming for both customers and workers if someone was allowed in wearing a mask. Police say it's a good idea.
Certainly they need to pay more attention to those people.
Boone County National Bank already has a rule in place that says customers must show their faces, and a representative says the bank will strictly enforce this rule through Halloween.
Some mid-Missouri bank managers say they don't have any bans in place because they've never had any customers come in wearing costumes that made them hard to identify.
A late-night police chase ended abruptly, leaving 2 people hurt and a house damaged. Columbia police spotted a truck reported as stolen, and the chase began, ending with the truck slamming into 2 other cars and a duplex. KOMU 8's Marcel Clark is live on Columbia's north side with the details.
I'm here on Raleigh Drive where a black car crashed into these cars and a duplex last night. Now, if you take a closer look to this red car, there was a lot of damage done to it before the black truck crashed into the left side of the duplex. The construction crew was here this morning doing demo work and getting the structure ready to rebuild. The entire sidings of the house and the stud wall that were exposed were completely removed. A production manager on the cleanup says it is normal for the community to feel vulnerable after an incident like this.
I think maybe takes away from their sense of well-being in their own home. You know, if you can be sitting in your home at 10:30 at night and get hit by a car, I think there's something wrong with that.
ServPro workers say the process should take about 2 to 3 weeks. Reporting live in Columbia, I'm Marcel Clark, KOMU 8 News.
Safety will be the main focus at tonight's Columbia Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee meeting. In less than an hour, they discussed the possibility of adding a pedestrian crossing on Broadway, somewhere between Stadium Boulevard and Manor Drive. Residents have complained about the lack of a safe walking route to West Middle School for the neighborhood south of Broadway. Right now, kids have to walk to one of the protected crosswalks at either Stadium or Manor or cross Broadway illegally. Residents worry about the safety of the children crossing Broadway without a pedestrian crossing. A Michigan State University study has good news for next year's grads. It may be easier for you to find a job. The numbers have increased from 2014, and 6 academic programs have seen this positive change. The study said the new jobs are some of the same jobs that were lost during the recession. Some MU students were happy to hear the news, but felt they weren't affected because there will always be a demand for their major, like nursing. But one student was happy because it relieves him of some financial stress.
It's really good to know that we're going to get out of college, we're going to actually have ways to help pay back what we owe.
A spokesman for the Columbia Area Career Services Center says the study's not surprising because the center has seen a decrease in the number of people needing help finding a job over the past few years.
The Kansas City Royals are going to the World Series for the first time since 1985. They just beat the Orioles 2-1. They swept the series 4-0. Joining us is KOMU8's Anders Arhus live at the Power and Light District with some really proud Kansas City Royal fans. Anders?
I'm here in the Power and Light District where the Royals have just clinched the virtual World Series. It's absolutely crazy right now. I'm actually on one of the upper decks because there's really nowhere to stand in the lower part of this watch party. It was so loud when the Royals clinched the cheer that this upper deck was actually shaking. You could feel it shaking, and it's incredible. People around me are hugging. Some people are crying. Everyone, as you can see, extremely happy about the Royals going. The watch party's been filling up since the first pitch today. People getting off work, people coming in, getting out of school. I talked to one of the bartenders at Johnny's Tavern earlier about how great this KC crowd has been.
You can always tell when the Royals do something really well because everyone just cheers really loud, but a lot of people just kind of sit and watch the game and have some drinks.
Okay, our reporter live at the Power and Light District. Things are going wild and crazy in downtown Kansas City and out at the K. Once again, if you're just joining us, the Royals are going to the World Series for the first time since 1985. They just beat the Orioles 2-1 in Game 4, and they sweep the 4-game series. More sports news. It draws hundreds of horse enthusiasts and spectators alike each year. But this year's Boone County Fair Horse Show might be the last. The show takes place at the Central Missouri Events Center, which is scheduled to close next year. This comes after Epic, a proposed 8-cent sales tax, failed on the August ballot. Horse trainer Robert Stavosky says if the show isn't held next year, it will hurt more than just business.
Our customers wouldn't have a show close to home. We would have to travel further, and it would take money out of the state, definitely.
The horse show dates back to the 1800s. You can see the horses starting tomorrow morning. The show ends Saturday night.
Compared to yesterday's weather, today was a complete 180, so let's check in with Rosie to see if we get to keep this nice weather a bit longer.
Brittany, the news is good there. We cleared up our skies a little bit more quickly than we were anticipating today. I'm sure nobody's angry at me for it. That meant that top temperatures got to warm up even just a little bit higher than expectations. Good news all around. Low humidity right now. I'm just showing you our current conditions because I like them so much. That bright sunshine, temperatures right now into the middle 60s. The biggest issue that we've had in the last few hours is that northwesterly winds have been a bit on the breezy side, but they're already starting to back down about 5 to 10 miles per hour on average now. You can see how warm we've been in the last 24 hours as compared to 6 o'clock this time yesterday. 12 degrees warmer across mid-Missouri. It's been a pretty impressive temperature improvement. And the thing is, we're not done. After clear skies late tonight, we're actually going to be seeing those temperatures pop up just a little bit higher on Thursday afternoon. Lots of good news in your forecast. I'll tell you everything to expect in the next 8 days in total coming up in just a bit.
Rosie, thanks. The test is getting more difficult. In fact, it's not even called the GED anymore. How to get ahead in tonight's Poverty in Plain Sight.
Never be surprised by the weather. Download the free KOMU8 weather app today. Brought to you by Family Pond.
There's a new auditor in town, and if you steal, waste, or